Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Ite Namani.
Srila Prabhupada stopped at a tree, and he took a leaf from the tree and crumpled it up and smelt it and said, "Oh, what kind of tree is this?" And the devotee said, "Srila Prabhupada, it's a camphor tree." And Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, that's Radharani's favorite fragrance."
How can we get confidence in our elder, senior God brothers if they're not following or chanting or whatever? And he went very quiet and he looked at me and then he told me, he said, "So you are following?"
After the ghee lamp was offered, I took it, and for some unknown reason, I went around to all the devotees first and to Srila Prabhupada last. I remember thinking in my mind, like when you take a meal, you save the dessert for last. So I was thinking, out of respect for Srila Prabhupada, he's the best, I will give it to him last. And the quality of Srila Prabhupada I get from this is his utmost humility.
After some time, I thought, he's going to say women. And I'm sitting right up the front. They're going to give the book to me. And I'm going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I couldn't get out of it, right? And they gave the book to me. And I felt like crawling under the carpet. I was so embarrassed because I really hadn't pronounced Sanskrit that much. Anyway, so I started pronouncing the verse, and I couldn't say it hardly at all. But Prabhupada started following with me and started, saying it with me. And he was so kind, and I was just hopeless. And he said in the end, "Very good."
Another example I wanted to talk about to illustrate Prabhupada's concern for and love for his female disciples was in Mayapur, one incident occurred where I was picking flowers in the field that was just in front of the Lotus building. And Prabhupada was up on the balcony, and he said to his servant, who I think it was Harisori, who later relayed it to me, he said, every flower she picks is a step towards Krishna. So it was very wonderful, Prabhupada's observation.
I'd been reading somewhat from the books and realized how Prabhupada had quoted Chanakya Pandit many times. And on the morning walk sometimes in London in the park, Prabhupada would sometimes quote Chanakya. And I asked Prabhupada, are these instructions from Chanakya Pandit spiritual instructions? And Prabhupada looked quizzically and said, no, they're moral instructions, which was a very big eye-opener, because on reflection it became very clear that Prabhupada had to teach us a whole lot about morality as well as spiritual life.
The first thing I noticed about the morning walk was how polite everybody was. Srila Prabhupada created an aura, an atmosphere on the morning walk where everybody grew up and was extremely in the mode of goodness. And this was really noticeable because we were all young devotees and quite often kind of pushy. But in Srila Prabhupada's presence, there was complete calm, which is so noticeable. It was like they say, as thick as soup. It was like a magic shield of of sattvic energy that emanated from Srila Prabhupada. So I could tell that when Prabhupada's there, then everybody's consciousness comes up.
So I asked Prabhupada, what should be our relationship with Krishna? Is it neutral, servitude, friendship, conjugal? So he said, common platform is neutrality. You begin your chanting or service from that level, and then you goes on making advancement. But he said, don't jump. Just chant Hare Krishna, and all your doubts will be cleared up.
I was living in New York for the first 5 years, more or less, of my devotional life. And at one point I became responsible for fundraising for ISKCON food relief. So I began to develop a strategy to try to raise money from corporations. And I thought, well, they wouldn't relate to Krishna. So I came up with this idea, I'll make a letterhead that just says ISKCON on it. So I went down and that letterhead was on, was on Prabhupada's table. And he looked at me and he said, you have done this? And I said, yes. So where is International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Where is Founder Acharya? And I said, I don't know if I even tried to explain. All I remember is saying, so you won't do this again?
He said that the pure devotee of Krishna is always crying in his heart of hearts for all the poor women and all the poor animals that are being exploited around the world. And so immediately all the swamis, you could hear their mouths clamp shut and be quiet, stop talking. And that lesson taught me something. There was friction at that time between the sannyasis and brahmacharis and householders and women. But that taught me that Srila Prabhupada cared equally about everyone. And he certainly did not want our women to be mistreated. And he put the sannyasis into their place. He shut them down, boom. It was like a bomb. I'd never seen anything like it.
Jai Anilo Prema Dana Karuna